probably. Let's go follow him.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can see.
Oh, there we go. Hey, there we go, Sam. There you go. This is your difference. This is what Trump built. And then we swing around here. This is what Biden's building. Little sheds. Little shanty sheds. Welcome stations. Who do you trust? The people who have lied to you for the last 100 years in your political establishment? Or your own two eyes that God gave you? Boom! There it is. Your open border.
As we're coming back filming the invasion of our country, we're actually stopped by Border Patrol and law enforcement. They're bringing each one of us out of the vehicle with our hands above our head and behind our backs, guns drawn, like we're criminals.
You can see behind me, this is what's called the superhighway.
4 million people have fled their homes now in the weeks that followed Putin's invasion of Ukraine, many of them fleeing to Poland and other nearby European countries, while others are heading to the U.S. through the Mexican border, where it's easier to get it.
The slave traders of our day, open to America. The biggest tragedy in America is our open border. There is no nation without a border. There is no America without a delineation between America and any other nation.
It's really important that we understand as a people that this is changing our American way of life.
It wasn't long ago, if you remember, the administration refused to call the situation at the border a crisis. Remember, instead they opted for the word challenge.
So the people who have time after time tried to destroy this nation are going all in by saying America shouldn't exist because our borders don't even exist. This is happening and it's leading to immense amounts of pain. We went and covered this pain and horror at the border. Child smugglers, human traffickers, rape, trees, all manner of human slavery and suffering happening inside of Yuma, Arizona. Yuma, Arizona is where we went to in order to see the horrors with our own eyes.
Let's see what we can see.
Oh, there we go. Hey, there we go, Sam. There you go. Welcome to Benny on the Border. There we go. Do you want to know about open borders today? We got you. We've been out here for 10 minutes. While we were in Yuma, Arizona, in fact, multiple illegal criminal migrants wandered into our country and got really pissed off at us. Not nice looking hombres. Quite frankly, we were a little bit worried and scared. Luckily, the Border Patrol treated us with kindness and helped us navigate around the border safely. They showed us some really perilous sights and explained to us how horrific it is to not have a wall on the border. We were scrolling through social media when we saw one of our favorite reporters, Ben Burgquam from Real America's Voice, was apprehended at the exact same place that we were filming in Yuma, Arizona. Ben Burgquam has been one of the best reporters out there on the border, and he has been telling true stories. So why is Ben Burgquam in handcuffs? Why is he and his team and his producers and his cameramen put in cuffs exactly where we were filming by Border Patrol? What don't they want you to see? Ben Burgquam joined Benny on the Block for a special interview in order to talk about the horrors that he experienced on the border and why he was apprehended for doing what we do every single week on this show. Go out into the street and tell real stories. We are so excited to be welcoming Ben Burgquam to the show, who has been on the border and reported for Real America's Voice. He's been one of the only souls who dared cover the absolute atrocities occurring at our southern border. He joins us now. Ben, thank you for being on the program.
It's great to be with you, man.
We really couldn't believe when we saw this video, you yourself and your media team, presumably your cameramen and the people who are traveling with you, were arrested on the border. Can you explain this to our audience?
Well, just a clarification of classification. We were detained. We were never arrested. We were detained for about a half an hour on the southern border. What's ironic about this, we were actually exposing what was happening. There was a group of them. I've never seen this before. I went down. We're in the Yuma sector of the border. I've covered this area extensively, and we went to a place that I've been many times before, and we turned a corner where the wall ends, and I noticed this group of about 60 fighting age men just standing there. No border patrol, nobody around. We interviewed them. We spent about 45 minutes with them. I did a interview with Steve Bannon on War Room, and then we went on our way, and we continued to cover what was happening in that area. We went down to the trails where these guys are crossing over to show you the debris that's left behind, the environmental disaster that these open border policies are creating, and really to show you the whole picture. And on our way out, about 2 hours later, still having yet seen a Border Patrol agent, we were pinned in. They had closed a gate on us that remains open every time I've ever been there, and ultimately removed at gunpoint from our vehicle. As the illegal aliens, the 60 men, we actually were right back to the place where we began, were looking on, many of them with their cell phones out, reporting what was happening to us as they were basically just allowed to mingle and wander into America.
So what were they trying to stop you from covering? What are some of the things that you have seen with your own two eyes that the corporate press can't cover because they don't get close enough to do it? Again, the New York Times is covering this from a building in Manhattan, right? They don't have a reporter on the border. What are you seeing? What are the realities?
Well, basically, our borders are controlled by the cartels. I mean, that is clear at this point. We no longer have sovereign borders. If you look at Mexico, Mexico has been controlled by the cartels for years. And now we're starting to see that influence on the U.S. side. And we're seeing it through the takeover of many media outlets. Many of them have been corrupted. We see that through the corruption of many politicians. And all you have to do is ask the question, why? Who are the representatives, the so-called politicians that are supporting open borders? The only people that would support open borders support the cartels. These guys know it. If you're in federal office, you know that all you're doing is aiding and abetting the cartels.
Goodness. Ben, we've brought our show down to that Yuma sector. I've only been to the actual border once. Been to that Yuma sector. We went around with Border Patrol. That's why we were particularly shocked at your story. It's really a story that's told 100,000 times a day, right? When people try and cross the border, and our underfunded DHS and our Border Patrol desperately try and maintain order, and they just can't. You're friends with Border Patrol. What do these Border Patrol agents want? What do they want? And they don't wantingly, the vast majority of them, I have to assume, are clean cops. They don't want to see this country invaded. They would wish to stop the cartels. That's presumably why they signed up to do this job. So what do the agents on the border need? What are they crying out for? What are they asking the Biden administration for, and why aren't they being heard?
Well, one of the most heartbreaking facts about this invasion is the statistics of suicide among Border Patrol.
Wow.
The morale is as low as it's ever been. I talk to these guys, and oftentimes off the record, off the camera, they have tears in their eyes. And these guys are many a times former veterans that served our country overseas, that sometimes, were have friends and family members that paid the ultimate sacrifice, and they're being asked to break their oath.
Thank you, Ben, so much for being on the program, for your work. It is truly the most important work, we think, in the country. And in a different era and in a just era, you would be winning a Pulitzer right now, and you and your detainment would be the #1 story in the country. But sadly, we don't live in a just world, but you are making it better. Thank you, Ben.
It's an honor to be with you. Appreciate you.
Hey, it's
It's Benny Johnson here, Turning Point USA's Chief Creative Officer. If you like this video you just watched, be sure to subscribe to the official Turning Point USA channel and never miss an episode. See you guys next week.